Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Whether you're picking and grinning or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up. So I woke up on Sunday morning this week. We're recording this in late February. I was in Nashville, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But I woke up and I opened up my TikTok feed, and my TikTok feed proved to be useful for the first time, because it immediately convinced me that I will never go to a Treaty Oak Revival concert. And I don't know if you were following along or if you saw any of this, but I woke up to seeing things like this right here.
Oh, I need to turn up the...
I'm going to mute that. This is a Treaty Oak Revival concert. This is not the one in Lexington, Kentucky, I don't believe. Or no, it is. It is actually the one at Rep Arena. All right, so that's one video. Let's go to another video. Let's see. This is Lexington, Kentucky, Treaty Oak Revival. This is on TikTok from CK Kearns 1. And in the song, I think it's called Boomtown, there's a point in the song where Treaty Oak Revival fans take their beers and they intentionally stockpile many of them and throw them in the air. And it is chaos, mass chaos. So here you go. Here you go. Look at this. This is crazy.
Why?
This isn't just someone throwing a beer in there. This is people hurling stacks of beer cups full of beer across an arena floor. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from this video, but over here on the side, there's actually someone who throws an entire trash can into the pit. And then there are other videos on TikTok of like brawls, fist fights, people in chokeholds getting pummeled in the face. And the thing that is, there's two things about all this that shocks me. The first is, well, there's three things. The first is that anyone would ever want to go to experience this. This is fucking crazy. The second thing is that you have people like this. This is from Evansville, Indiana on the 20th of February. Boomtown, baby, exclamation point. And the caption is love, love, love. Gen Zers, or whoever the hell the Treaty Oak Revival fans are, I don't know what age group that is. I don't know enough about them.
Yeah.
And please understand, I'm not complaining about the band or their music at all.
Of course.
But this behavior is going to turn people away from going to concerts. At least people with half a brain. Because obviously the people that are celebrating this do not have half a brain.
Or those who have no desire to be covered in sticky with beer.
Exactly. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to pull this up quickly, but there are other videos that I saw from Lexington, Kentucky. And they are videos of people filming the Rupp Arena crew mopping up pools, not puddles, pools of beer from the arena floor after it's over. So the one thing is that anybody would ever want to experience this that surprises me or shocks me. The second thing that shocks me is that people are celebrating this behavior like it's okay. And then the third thing, and this is the one that got me the most, Rupp Arena staff before the show were equipped with ponchos. They knew this was going to happen. I cannot fathom what goes through an event manager's mind to say, oh, you know what? It's going to happen. So we might as well just let it happen and cause all this damage and chaos and injuries and cause our staff to be put in harm's way and have to clean up pools of beer off the floor. If I were the manager of an event venue and I knew this was happening at Treaty Oak Revival concerts, I would call Treaty Oak Revival's people and say, you can't come here.
That's what I'm thinking as you're talking about this. Like, why would any venue or event management team want that? And Rupp Arena is kind of a big place. It's not like a little like 250 cap room, you know?
Yeah.
That's a big place. I've been there.
I mean, it's 23,000 seats for basketball. I'm not sure how many it fit for this particular concert. And I haven't read any of the media reports, if there are media reports, but I just cannot, like, I look at my children who are in their late teens, early 20s, and know that they are generally in the younger demographic that loves going to arena concerts. I've gotten to the point to where I don't even fucking like going to arena shows anymore.
Right.
But and again, I don't know anything about the Treaty Oak Revival's fan base or following or how old they are or whatever, but I'm assuming this is college age, probably thereabouts, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, but that sort of Gen Z, Gen Alpha group. And they are celebrating behavior that is atrocious at a concert. I don't care how big the show is. I don't care how loud it is. Nobody wants to get showered in beer that is sane. If you go to a frat party or something like that, maybe you're expecting something like that will happen. You get wild, you get crazy. When you're in college, that's fine. But you don't go to a public venue with 20,000 other people and behave like that. I'm shocked that there weren't 10,000 arrests that night. I just don't understand how people can behave that way and think it's cool.
So this happens at every one of their shows during this specific song?
At least in Evansville, it did a few days before. And then at this show, it happened. And I'm looking at a couple of older videos, and apparently it's happened before. I don't think to this. I think now the fans at various towns have gotten into a one-upsmanship kind of thing. Oh, Evansville you think that was off the cuff. Wait till you see what Lexington, Kentucky could do. Woo! Well, Lexington, Kentucky, you look like a bunch of fucking idiots is what you look like. I mean,
and that doesn't sit well with this Kentucky boy. Nobody
over the age of 23 or 24 is going to think this is cool for very long. Unless they're, some sort of seventh year senior who is an alcoholic and can't get out of college. But I'm stunned. Like if I had listened to a bunch of Treaty Oak Revival stuff and liked their music and wanted to go see them in concert, I would have been out of my mind pissed off at this event. Which reminds me, I was out of my mind pissed off that night anyway, which I'll get to that either in a later episode or later in the show. Anyway, I know 1,000% to 20 somethings out there, I sound like a grumpy old man. Absolutely. But there's a difference between being a grumpy old man and just thinking kids are dumb and literally watching assault and battery happening willfully in a show. And not to mention, I mean, there was one video where like there were phones and purses and bras just in the beer pools soaking after the show. I can't fathom why anybody would ever subject themselves to that. And I feel terrible for the people who went there not knowing that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know what to say other than there's no way in hell I'll ever go see Treaty Oak Revival. I don't care how good they are. I'm never going to go see a concert like that if I know their fans are going to behave like this.
Right. And so, I've been to smaller like metal shows or even just rock shows, and there's a mosh pit. And especially like in the 90s, you kind of expected that to happen.
Yep.
So if you didn't want to be in it, you just stood off to the side.
Right.
But from those little clips that you showed,
there's no standing off to the side.
There is no standing off to the side. And I never really understood like that whole like throwing things. I
Mm-mm.
remember you remember the band Bare Naked Ladies?
Yeah.
Okay, so and I don't know if this is still a thing, but we went to see them. I don't even, it's been decades. Okay. And the one song, If I Had $1 Million, when they sing that, there's a line about Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody in the crowd, they come equipped with at least one box of Kraft macaroni and cheese. And when that song comes on that line, then everybody throws the box of macaroni and cheese. And I'm like, why? That's such a waste.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're picking up the boxes, the ones that are undamaged and, like, donating them or something, and maybe they do, maybe they did. I don't know, but I was just like, "That's kinda lame." So, I never understood that whole thing, and I understand it's cool to have, like, a thing with your band, your favorite band or whatever, but when other people are subjected to being miserable and they're unsuspecting, that's not cool, that's not fun, and I don't think even in my 20s, I would have wanted to be a part of that,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, I'm looking at some articles online about the aftermath of, Treaty Oak Revival in Worcester, Mass. Was calculated chaos. Nothing about Rupp Arena was calculated chaos. That was just anarchy. That was crazy.
Yeah, and
Um,
I can't believe these venues would allow that, and then the poor workers who've gotta clean that up. It's bad enough to have to clean up after a show without that, you know?
yeah,
And before you go on talking about, "Well, they should find better jobs." Okay, whatever. Your privilege is showing. Some people don't have a choice,
right.
okay?
I don't get it. And I can't, I'm looking for articles of, 27 people arrested at a Treaty Oak Revival concert. And I'm not seeing that, which blows my mind. Like on the video, I could go through several of these videos and point to people and say, okay, there are 3 misdemeanors and a felony that have just happened with this individual person. Not that cops have the time or is it necessary to go watch TikTok videos and go arrest people for doing shit at
Right,
concerts. But I don't understand the mentality of allowing it to happen.
right.
If you are an
Yep,
event manager and you know this is gonna happen, I think you're well warranted and well within your rights to tell the band, "You can't play here."
yep.
Of course, money talks, so that's not gonna happen. I haven't seen any reaction from the band, but I can't imagine they're not encouraging the behavior because it makes their shows off the cuff, epic experiences for that age group, I guess.
And noteworthy, I mean, we're
Yeah,
talking about it.
but I'm just blown away. All
Yeah,
right,
no
so
thanks.
nobody's gonna give a fuck what I think, so I'm just gonna move on. That same night, I was really, really upset at a concert myself. But there was a resolution. The event people did good by me, so I want to share that because there's bad and good in
Yeah.
this. But I
Okay.
want to also provide a cautionary tale for anyone who might be considering going to a concert or an event of any kind at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. My daughter Katie and I went Saturday night to the Billy Strings concert. It was one of
Mhm.
3 shows, I think. And it was Billy Strings does a great show. He's a fantastic player. Ronnie McCory came up and played mandolin for a few songs, so it was
Nice.
just a really fantastic experience. However, Katie and I purchased seats on the front row of the upper level, the 3rd level, and primarily because I didn't want anybody standing in front of me. I wanted to be able to see.
Sure.
And I don't normally do 3rd level, but it was a sold out show, so I was happy to get the tickets I got. Well, it apparently, and this is the majority of seats at Bridgestone Arena have permanent, non-movable cup holders on either
Okay.
side of the seat, and the distance between the two is approximately 18 inches. I could not physically fit in the seat. Now, I'm not a small person, but I'm also not, my 600-pound lover or whatever the fuck that show is. Um, I'm not that big, but I'm a large size guy. But I've never been to a venue anywhere where I did not physically fit in the seat. I've been uncomfortable. I've had
Sure.
to, kind of I've had back issues. So I got to kind of, I don't like these seats. but I literally sat on the edge of the seat, and as I scooted back, the two cup holders were in my hips, and I physically could not go all the way back to the back of the seat. That is the majority of the seats in Bridgestone Arena, which is in Nashville, Tennessee, in the American South, where people ain't skinny, and B, it's a fucking hockey arena. And have you ever seen an NHL crowd? They ain't fucking skinny either. So,
Hey now, I've been to plenty of games.
so you can verify this. Anyway, so I was mortified and embarrassed. I had to go with my daughter to the customer service desk and say, I can't physically fit in the seat. This isn't like a special seat, or it's just a regular seat in the goddamn arena. The ones in the lower level are the same way. And the lady says to me, we're completely sold out. I can't do anything for you. We don't even have ADA seating left. I don't even have a chair to put you in.
Oh,
so we proceed to go down to the first floor, customer service, the main customer service. And I was very calm. I was not angry. I wasn't saying dirty words or anything. My daughter was about to throw punches. She was pissed.
I'm sure.
But I was just like, just let me handle this. So I very nicely said, paid a lot of money for these tickets. We drove down from Louisville, Kentucky. I can't physically fit in your seats. I can't imagine you don't have 5,000 people complaining about this every hockey match, but I can't physically sit back in your seats. I'm willing to admit I'm a large person, but I'm not abnormally large. I fit in most other seats in most other venues just fine. What the hell? So they told me the same thing. We're sold out. We can give you standing room only tickets on the floor. And I'm like, well, that's not possible for me. I'm physically unable to stand for 3 hours, no matter how high I am from the contact buzz at a Billy String show. I can't do that. And so they did call the box office. Box office gentleman came out and they discussed it for a second. And one lady said, what about the such and such seats? I didn't know what they were talking about. They told me they were completely sold out. Box office guy comes back, hands me 2 tickets, goes, this is going to solve your problem. Go check them out. If you don't like them, come back and see me. We ended up 13 rows off the floor, so much better seats, right by the stage on the aisle. And it happened to be on the aisle where I was sitting on the aisle seat, and there wasn't anything in front of me other than the view of the stage.
Oh.
And these 2 seats, for whatever reason, the cup holders retracted. You could pull them up. So we were able to sit in these 2 seats that were sold out. And they were 2 seats that did not behave the way the other seats in Bridgestone Arena behave. So we were able to pull up. So I was comfortable. Katie was comfortable. If we wanted to see better, we could have stood up. I didn't have any obstructed view. She had a gentleman standing in front of her, but she was fine too. She could just kind of lean over, and we were fine just sitting, but we stood up a couple times too. So long story short, Bridgestone Arena did well in handling a situation where I was very unhappy. Other than the old lady radioing to the ticket office saying, we have a gentleman out here who needs a refund because of his size. I was like, wow, really? You said that right in front of me and my daughter. Thanks.
And however many other people.
Yeah. And so I was obviously frustrated and disappointed, and would absolutely discourage anyone from attending an event there unless you're under 240 pounds. If you're over 240, you're probably going to be very uncomfortable, if not be able to sit back in your damn seat, because that's how the damn arena is designed. I cannot fathom in this day and age, that arena is not that old.
No, it isn't.
I can't imagine in this day and age that design was done. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand how you can design an arena in the 21st century and not allow for people who are a little larger than normal. And all you fat shamers out there can go fuck yourselves. Say whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. I should be able to sit in the damn seat in a hockey arena.
Yeah, definitely. And as you were talking, I'm racking my brain because I've been to hockey games at Bridgestone. We, went down there for a game when the Predators played the Blackhawks, and we sat in the upper level. I don't remember being uncomfortable or, like, obstructed in any way. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't remember cup holders. So I wonder if that was, like, if that's a recent change or update
I don't know.
or I don't remember that at all, and I'm not minimizing or denying your
Sure,
experience.
sure.
I'm trying to think, like, was I did I feel the same way? But, I can't say that I do. At the same time, I'm glad though that that gentleman did what he did and was able
Yeah.
to get those seats for you and Katie, because that would have been really awful.
Yeah.
Embarrassing, yes, and then missing out on the show
Yeah.
that
I
you
would.
and Katie both were looking forward to.
Yeah. I probably would have said some very not so nice things on the
Yeah.
TikToks and the Instagrams that night. I'm glad I didn't. I did actually post a TikTok in the middle of it all, but then I immediately took it down because I was like, no, let's see if they can
Yeah.
resolve this. I was embarrassed more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I was really just again, kind of like with the Treaty Oak Revival thing, I was just incredulous that this could happen in this day and age. We're not in an era where, body size and whatnot is not accommodated for by design in buildings and things like that. I just could not fathom when you take into the fact that it's a hockey arena and it's in the South. I'm just like, you're not talking about an average person of an 18-inch hip width. I'm sorry. It's just not, it doesn't calculate. So anyway, the show ended up being good. We enjoyed it. Applaud Bridgestone for accommodating us despite the fact that they were apparently sold out, but not really, at least for
Mm,
these 2 seats, which I understand they have contingency seats they got to hold on to
sure.
for people like me, which is fine. So I applaud them, but I would definitely, I will never buy another concert ticket for Bridgestone again. I'll never go there again for anything unless or until they say, oh, all those cup holders that prevented fat people from sitting down? We got rid of them. Now you can sit down if you're a fat ass. And I would be perfectly happy if that were the verbiage in the press release too. Just, hey, fat fuckers, you can come now. That'd be fine.
Get in my belly.
Anyway, welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank.
And he's false.
And we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
And today on the show, we are talking with Virginia-born singer-songwriter Andy Thomas, known for being a killer guitarist with previous bands and projects. Andy Thomas decided to shift his focus and tell his own story with his own voice.
That's right. The Trongone Band frontman and guitarist for Yarn, Andy Thomas, will release his debut solo album titled Highway Junkie on March 27th. This is a huge accomplishment for him and the fruition of a dream he once thought unattainable. Thomas recently found sobriety, and it has since provided the stability and motivation he needed to get that dream off the ground.
Yes, his story is quite inspiring with sobriety. He's also found purpose and hopes his experiences carry over into his music and songwriting. So we'll be sure to touch on all of that and much more during our chat with Andy.
That's right. We also need to talk about the producer of Andy's debut album. It's a name many of you may recognize, Dave Schools of Widespread Panic fame. He's a fellow Virginian, and there's no doubt his involvement has something to do with the fiery Southern rock sounds that come out of this thing. It's a dandy. It's a shit kicker, as we like to say back home.
It really is. And like it's the type of album where you kind of want to get in your car and turn it up real loud and drive with the windows down, But speaking of that album, I was also excited to see a duet with one of my favorite singer-songwriters who just happens to also be from Virginia. That would be Dory Freeman. And I may have mentioned this, I don't even know how many episodes ago, that I got to see Dory perform at Tradfest in Dublin, Ireland in 2019. I've been a fan ever since. So she joins Thomas on the track Nothing I Wouldn't Do For You, and it is so, so sweet.
Yeah. We'll hear a little bit of that in the show, as well as a few other cuts from the new album from Andy Thomas. We got a lot to talk about with him, so let's take a break here for a refill and thank the fine sponsors that make this show happen. When we come back, we will chat with Andy Thomas. Stay tuned. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Getting pretty tired of this old blue collar. Day after day just trying to make a dollar. Well, I toss another nickel in the wishing well. Well, I gotta climb my way out of this everyday hell. Drinking every night just to pass the time. Something don't change, I'm gonna lose my mind. 'Cause I'm a highway junkie, not your ordinary honky.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That ripper of a song is Highway Junkie, the title track off the debut album from our guest today, Andy Thomas. Andy, thanks for spending some time with us here on The Big Show. How's it going, my man?
It's going great. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are thrilled to have you, and we know that you have plenty of exciting news to talk about with us. So let's talk first about your debut album, Highway Junkie, which will be released to the world on March 27th.
That's
So we
correct.
mentioned in our opening segment that the album and the songs are deeply personal. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey, how it was that you decided it was time to record your own album and tell your own story?
Sure, absolutely. Let's see. I guess it all started about the time I moved to Florida 4 years ago. And I wasn't doing much with music. My old band had kind of dismembered, and I moved down here just so, kind of like a fresh view, fresh start. And I was playing a little bit down here, but more like beach gigs and bar gigs and other soul sucking stuff that just didn't align with what I really wanted. Um and after about a year and a half of being down here, and I was just kind of had a intervention with myself, and kind of a coming to, and I was like, I gotta make a change. And I decided to start with cutting out all the booze, drugs, party, anything that was a distraction. I kind of realized I had never tried life or music without it, and it obviously wasn't going great. So I was like, let me start there. And my main focus along with my sobriety was just making a record. So I just started writing my ass off. I was just working and writing, and just writing a lot. So everything was very, very personal and, autobiographical. And I had a story to tell, and I was trying to figure out what to write about and how to write. I was like, I don't want to write a bunch of party songs. I mean, of course I love rock and roll. So
Right.
they come out that way sometimes, but I was like, I wanted to dig in and figure out, some substance to write about. And, I feel like I got there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically it was my goal, but I just kind of put the blinders on for a while and saved up some money, saved up some songs. And then it really hit me about a year and a half after that, where I was like, all right, I'm ready. Or, I didn't even know if I was ready, but I knew I needed to put something in motion. So I did,
Mhm.
even without any real plan or real, funding or team or anything. I just was like, I need to put this in motion. So that's where I got, that's when I started talking with Dave Schools about the project and where I was at, and, how many songs I had. And, yeah, so I kind of took this whole part of my life that I've been living and writing about, and I just kind of put it into this little package that became this record.
That's awesome, man. Well, and it's hard to overlook the real, I guess, emotional honesty in your writing. I'm curious. I mean, obviously, the sobriety and all of the things that you said that led to this sort of moment. I'm curious if on the album there's one particular song or maybe a couple on the album that is really reflects your background and your experiences with this that you could point to say, that's me telling my story. Like that's the moment that I realized I got to be really honest in these lyrics, and that's it.
Oh, wow. I mean, I would say the first song and the last song paint a real good picture of who the hell I am and what the whole album's about. And that's kind of like the two buns of the burger. And
I love it.
I
and
love that analogy.
I think the title track sets up the whole record of, all right, this is me and this is where this is gonna go. We're gonna go off on a bit of a journey, and then I'm gonna bring you right back to why I'm doing this and where this is going and who I am at the end too, because that's also a big part of it. And it's a very different vibe, it's a bit of a different vibe, but I think those two.
Nice.
That
I definitely surprised myself with some other songs too, but I would say Highway Junkie and Last One Standing are pretty standout of the two bonds.
Love it.
well, Jason and I got to hear the whole burger, buns included. And I mean, I would agree, like not knowing you personally or, knowing all the details of your story, but
Sure.
those songs truly are, I think those are good bookends.
Yeah.
So, and also talking about your music, we can't overlook your electrifying guitar work. So as someone who has tried and failed to play
Oh,
guitar, I find it incredibly impressive that you covered all of the guitars on all of the tracks on this album.
I did.
So for those of us who may not be as knowledgeable, about the whole recording process, can you give us a bit of insight into how that actually works?
Yeah, absolutely. So we recorded, there was a core four, which was me on guitar, um, Josh Schilling on keys, Mark Henderson on drums, and Stephen Campbell on bass. And us four recorded all 12 of these songs in the same room together live. So, there's uh we put well, my amp was loud, so we put my amp in a closet. But there's some bleed between, the amps and the baby grand and the drums, and I mean, it's all together and cohesive and live. So that being said, for the guitars, we saved and used all of my parts on the floor, and the most of the guitar solos, all the rhythm parts, those are all what we recorded, that first time, that take we picked. So that was always an electric guitar for me, whether it was most of the time my Telly, but I had some Les Paul and a hollow body and a Strat. And,
Nice.
so I saved all those. And then, so I went back and added acoustic guitar where it was needed, and also slide guitar where it was needed. So I did all the rhythm guitars and the solos and the slide guitar and the acoustics. Just some of those I had to, I went back and overdid and overlaid where I felt needed. But yeah, we didn't do too much overdubbing other than that. If Josh tracked organ on the song, then he went back and did a piano part, vice versa, if it felt more like a piano song up front. And then we did lead vocals, background vocals, and some percussion.
Very nice. So tell me a little bit about the songwriting process for you. I mean, it obviously varies from, person to person, but do you like
It also
sit down
it
and
also it
what's that?
varies. It varies person to person, but it definitely varies song to song too.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a set equation. I write a lot while I'm driving. I also write a lot while I'm working. I've been working construction for a long time, and I wrote a lot of these songs on the job, just like certain lines and choruses. I was just like repeating over and over in my head just because I was thinking the thought, and I was like, well, this is a song. But yeah, with these songs, I feel like I came up with like the choruses, the hooks, the first, which I feel like when I was younger and trying to write, I feel like I like came up with all these verses. It was like verse, 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 verse.
Right.
Where and then I would be like, well, this is cool, but where's the hook?
Yeah.
Where's the chorus? What is it? It's like all these lines and verses are cool. I'm like, but what does this mean?
Right.
And I feel like I would find trouble digging out what it meant. But for some reason, and for all the writing for this album, I feel like the musical hooks and the choruses, those all came first, and then like the verses all fell into place. But there were a couple that just kind of like came out all together, and I was kind of done with it. And there were some other ones that took some time. There were some of them that the music came first, and I just recorded like a demo of the music and kind of did the Beatles thing where I was just kind of like, humming some sounds and, um, melodies, sounds, and like gibberish. And I think like Runaway for in particular, that I had this groove, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. And I was sitting on the couch, and there's a book in our family room, and it just, it's a huge spine. It says Runaway. I was like, well, that's a song. And, it took me to a place, where I was always thinking about a time and place and a feeling and maybe an individual, but it got me there.
Nice. That's good stuff.
Um,
So I would imagine I want to step out here for a quick break because we want to listen to a couple more of these songs.
awesome.
But I would imagine that the song we're about to play here to break is one of those that you probably either wrote or came up with a lot of the ideas in the car, because I could imagine you putting a hole through the floorboard for the bass and wearing
Yeah.
the steering wheel out, the dashboard out for the snare and all that stuff. So let's take a break here and listen to more music from Andy Thomas. This song's called Long Gone. Don't go away. This is Roots Music Rambler.
1, 2, 3, 4, baby, that's all I'm giving you. Tell me that you love me and that you will be true. Ain't no asking questions, ain't no wondering why. Just tell me that you love me or I'm saying goodbye. Now be gone, so gone, oh, long gone. You got me wrong, so wrong. So here's a long gone song. That old alarm is ringing again, and just waiting for me to clock in. Forget this job, forget my phone, do not disturb, nobody's home. Seems everybody lost their mind, or maybe it's just me that lost mine. I gotta get on out of this place and probably never show my face again.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That is Freedom Song from today's guest, Andy Thomas, from his upcoming debut album, Highway Junkie. Andy, we can't help but feel that Freedom Song is sort of an anthem. What was your sort of thought process and intention when writing and recording that one?
Totally. Yeah, I wrote the music first to that, or just, that kind of, and my lady, Dana, she was like, that song is just like 4th of July or something. Like before I even had like an idea, then she was like, yeah, that's like a 4th of July song or something. I'm like, well, all right, freedom song.
There you go.
Then then I think I started writing like, or actually I think I like woke up and like wrote that. I was like laying in bed and I was like, I started thinking of like, well what kind of freedom? Um, and I thought about, Virginia, and I thought about moving to Florida, and I thought about what like all that meant to me, and kind of uh where I was, and I was like, oh well, there's when you think about like freedom and stuff, that it could go a million different ways. With like that's that's what I was thinking about, and just maybe somebody somebody you don't feel like you belong somewhere, or
Mm-hmm.
having a hard time. I was like, oh well, that's where this is going.
Nice.
So
Someone needed to hear it.
yeah,
That's the feeling I got when I was listening to it.
totally.
That somebody, this was a song that for someone, whomever, that just needed
Yeah,
to hear it.
it was meant for somebody that's like going through that, and it's like, don't be afraid, don't be afraid to just like hit the wide open road, because that's how that song makes me feel.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Excuse me. So you mentioned Virginia, where you're from.
mhm.
You now live in Florida. And so one of the main premises of this show is examining place, how where you're from impacts your art. So again, originally from Virginia, and that's a place that does have a deep musical history, from bluegrass to country Americana.
Yeah,
So did you grow up around music? Was writing and playing always a part of the plan for you? And how has
oh yeah,
the
I knew I wanted to play guitar for the rest of my life when I was 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
I didn't mind school, but like I knew, like in the back of my head, I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm just gonna like play guitar.
There you
I just
go.
like make music for the rest of my life. So I mean, I was very involved in like band. I was a
Mhm.
total band. I was in concert band, jazz band, like all of them, playing bass, guitar, drums, anything I could. Um, but yeah, I knew since when I picked up the guitar when I was 10, I was gonna be playing for my whole life. And my dad played, and he never played professionally or anything, but he always had like some bands with some other dads, and they would play like, some like crab fest at the pool in the summer. I think that was the first time I played in front of people. So I took my dad's Strat and played like Louie Louie with like the dads.
Nice. That's a
And
did
good
you
one.
did you say Crab Fest?
yeah, I think it was like a crab fest.
Okay.
Sweet.
All
I
right.
got
We don't
like
have
the
that sort of thing
at
here,
like
but
the
okay.
pool that we did like swim team at. It was crazy.
That's
But
funny.
but my dad played when I picked up guitar, my brother picked up drums. And my dad then he bought a bass, and we kind of had this like family band rock trio that we were playing like Skinner and Allman Brothers and like Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan and like any kind of southern rock, blues, rock and roll stuff you could think of. And I mean, like we'd play, we'd rock out in like in the cul-de-sac for the block party and get or just open up the garage and get the cops called on us.
There
There
you
you
go.
go. That's it. That's
You
the
know
way to
you
do
made it
it.
when the cops show up.
Yeah, but there's this one time in particular where so I grew up out in Goochland County, Virginia, just like probably 45 minutes outside of Richmond.
Okay.
And I mean, even out there, we still got the cops called. I mean, there's like the houses weren't on top of each other, and there was a lot of land, and cops still showed up. Some neighbor got pissed, and he goes, "Oh shit, is that a guitar?" Picked it up and started playing Black Sabbath. I'm like,
The
The
police
cop did?
officer?
yeah.
Awesome.
Started playing Iron Man. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's good stuff right there.
But yeah, we were a musical family. My mom used to try and drag us to church, and I'd be like, come on, Dad. I'm like, this is church. I'm like, we don't got to go sit in the pews. I'm like, come on, we're playing as a family. This is better than that. We're jamming. Let's
Aw.
jam in the family, in the family room.
It'd be hard to argue with that though, as a
So
parent,
we did that a lot, and after high school, I just started playing. My dad just started taking us to every bar we could play in, and we were just like, I think my brother. Well, I mean, after high school for me, my brother's, he was like 3 or 4 grades younger than me, so he was like still in high school, out on like school nights, like fucking drumming in smoky bars. We were like chugging Four Locos in the bathroom, trying to keep up with all these old guys.
That's awesome.
I can drink more than you and play better than you.
Oh, wow.
You know you're serious when your dad takes you and your teenage brother to bars to play on weeknights. That's
yeah.
pretty serious right there.
I
That's good
mean,
stuff.
I don't. He was. Yeah. I mean, he was loving it. He was reliving everything.
That's
It was a
awesome.
blast. We had a great time, and then we did that for a while. We played locally. We did a little bit of regional stuff. We did some college stuff, and then had this 2-year residency in Richmond where we played every Thursday, and that really like grew the band, or like got us like really locked in. Got my brother and I really locked in. Got like playing with like, we didn't invite guests, but like really got the core of the band locked in. And then we were like, all right, well, we're gonna end this, and we're gonna fucking we're gonna make a record and hit the road. So my brother and I, we did it as a band, as the Trongone Band, for a while, till about COVID times. So it was always a family affair.
Very nice. So you're speaking of Virginia, you called in David Schools, obviously from Widespread Panic, to produce the album. I think you also
Uncle
had Dory
Dave.
Freeman on there to duet with you, also
Yeah.
from Virginia. So is it like where I'm from in Eastern Kentucky, where everybody knows everybody? Do y'all go all the way back and all that stuff?
I would say Goochland, Virginia is very small and very much like that, and so is Richmond. I mean, Richmond's just Richmond City, it was really just a little small town vibe too. But yeah, I would say everybody knows each other, and it's a very tight knit family vibe. I mean, people are proud to be from Virginia, that's for sure.
Sure.
I know I am.
As you should be.
As you should be, of course.
But Dave and I met. I don't know, maybe like at least 10 years ago, maybe 11, maybe 12. But I was playing a little acoustic gig in town, actually with Mark, the drummer from the record, and his wife. They were playing with this other gentleman, Tom, that played bass, that grew up playing bass with Schools at Cleveland, the school they went to in Virginia. So they were playing, and I was playing lead guitar with them and singing a little bit. And we were playing down at like, I think it was called the Conch Republic. It was like the Key West bar on the river. And Schools came out to watch Tom and hang out. So we met that day. And then we met, and I think stayed in touch. And then later on, my brother and I wanted to work with him on like an EP or something. So we became more in touch, and he came and saw the band a couple of times. We linked up out of town a few times. And so we did a small project together right before COVID. And then didn't really do too much. It was like really bad timing with that. So, but I loved working with Dave, and I knew he'd be the perfect fit for this project. So that's why I called him for this one.
Excellent.
Nice.
But yeah, but Dave introduced me to Dory. I did not know Dory before.
Oh,
this
okay.
project.
Okay. That's good.
Nice. So we know you've got the new album coming up. What else can we expect to see and hear from Andy Thomas? You got any tour dates? And then if you could tell the fine listeners where they can find you and your music on their interwebs.
Oh yeah, AndyThomasMusic.com. You can find everything going on in my world. You'd be the first to know if you go there and sign up for the email list. But Instagram, I'm pretty active on Instagram, the Andy Thomas, Facebook, of course, and TikTok. Sometimes I like to keep up with that as well. The Andy
Yeah.
Thomas as well. But yeah, Spotify, all the platforms, give me a follow, tell your friends, and you will see me on the road this year,
Awesome.
relentlessly.
That's good stuff.
Getting all that together, and there'll be some dates rolling out for the rest of this year, but coming up in the immediate future, I've got some dates with Blackberry Smoke in a couple weeks up in the Northeast, and I've got a big album release show in Richmond, some other shows around that too, and there'll be a lot more to come after that as well.
That's
Awesome.
great stuff. Well, Andy, big thanks to you. Be sure to, everybody out there, check out our show notes at rootsmusicrambler.com. We'll have all those links to Andy's new album and then some. Let's go out with that sweet duet from with Dory Freeman, Nothing I Wouldn't Do For You. Folks, be sure to stick around. Our Pickin' the Grinnin segment is coming up next. This is Roots Music Rambler.
As long as I remember, ever since I laid my eyes on you, well, I couldn't hide this feeling. It's something that I never knew. It took some time to get here. I had to go and stow away the wrong. And did you fall from the heaven, or were you right here all along? I never meant to fall in love now, darling, and you just made it so damn easy falling. Well, you know it's true. There ain't nothing that I wouldn't do.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. Excited for Andy Thomas. This album is going to be a dandy. We've had the advantage of being able to listen to it before it's out. And yeah, it's, I mean, you know, he mentioned, I think in there, he was doing some gigs up in the Northeast with Blackberry Smoke. If you're a Blackberry Smoke fan, you're going to dig Andy Thomas. This is good stuff. So very, very excited to have him on the show and let everybody know about this album coming out. So good stuff.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. All right, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. The time has come on the program when we do our Picking the Grinning segment. And that is where Frank and I share music, artists, albums, podcasts, whatever, stuff that's making us grin. It's our way of recommending new music to you. Actually, could be new music, could be old music, could be, you know, just stuff we pick up off the street and can't wipe off our shoes. You never know what we're going to recommend here for you on the old Pickin' the Grinnin' segment. But I do believe the last couple of times we've done this, and I could be wrong because sometimes we record and then the episode doesn't fall in the right order, but I think I've let Frank go first the last 6 or 7 times we've done. So I'm going to go first this time.
That's fine.
Because I want to continue from the intro of the show a little bit more about my weekend. Because my Pickin' the Grinnin' pick is an artist, singer-songwriter by the name of Michaela Ann. And I came to know her last Friday night in Nashville as my daughter Katie and I attended, as I mentioned on this program before, the album release party in Nashville at City Winery for Emily Scott Robinson. Michaela Ann opened for Emily Scott Robinson on Friday night. I had heard her name, but I had never really heard her music. And let's just say I will admit to one song of Michaela Ann's, and I'm pretty sure my daughter would admit to 2 songs of Michaela Ann's, literally made us cry.
Oh,
So really deep, thoughtful, meaningful, moving songs. She's got some others that are a little lighter fare too, but she's a mom and a singer-songwriter, and she's incredibly talented. And I thought, she's got a really good stage presence. And if you like acts like Emily Scott Robinson or Emily Jamerson or some of the other, especially certainly female singer-songwriters we talk about here on the show, I think Michaela Ann is going to be right up your alley. So you should definitely check her out. She's been doing it for a long time. She's just one of those, songwriters in Nashville that goes out and plays solo shows in a lot of different places and opens up for a lot of people. Maybe never has gotten the opportunity to be, jump up into the big time and, do bigger gigs, but she's made a life and a career out of it. And she's fantastically talented, super pleasant to chat with. We got to talk to her a little bit after the show too. So Michaela Ann is my Pickin' the Grinnin' this week. You should go check her out. We'll make sure there are links in the show notes to her music.
Nice.
So, Frank, who's your Picking the Grinning for this week?
Well, it it's funny, but no, it isn't funny. Maybe coincidental. As we recorded the open and you were telling your story about your experience at Bridgestone Arena, I had an idea to include this song as my Pick in the Grinnin'. I originally had something else picked out to share as my Pick in the Grinnin' for today's episode, but it's fine. I can share it another time. And then as you were describing your Pick in the Grinnin', Michaela Ann, and how her songs were very meaningful and, at least one of them made you cry, I'm like, oh, well, so is this song that I chose for my pick. So it's kind of like it's all connected. Okay.
Okay.
Big time callback to your opening story. So anyway, I don't know that if I've mentioned this artist on the show before, but his name is Noah Guthrie, and he's from South Carolina. I've seen him a couple times now. And just at the end of January, I believe the official release date was, he released a new single called Heavy. And I first saw Noah perform this song back in November. And so it was just him and the guitar, and it was very, very moving. And then I saw him, I did see him perform it again. It was, again, just him and his guitar. But in the middle of that, I heard the actual recording on Spotify or whatever. And with the whole band and everything, it's a completely different experience. That doesn't take away from anything. It's just, I think if anything, it adds the intensity. So the song is called Heavy. And Noah, the last time I saw him play it, explained that he wrote this song because he's always been, or maybe not always, but for a big portion of his life, he's always been heavy, right? He's struggled with his weight, trying to mask it, trying to hide it. And, like, I'm getting the chills talking about it now because I'm like, this is the first song that I've heard that captures the same sort of experience I've had with that same topic, right? Like, we've all experienced heartbreak and, cross-country drives and what have you, topics of some of our favorite songs. But I can't recall a song that was written, recorded, performed that specifically dealt with body issues,
Yeah.
self-doubt, that sort of thing. And so for Noah Guthrie to write those lyrics, I'm sure it was therapeutic for him. But then to record it and put it out to the world and then perform it in front of people live,
Yeah.
like, that takes big time courage and
Yeah.
guts. And the couple times I've heard him play it, I was just like, the last time I saw him, I recorded the whole thing because I'm like, I need to have this. But it's like, I feel seen,
Yeah.
and because I have been the fat kid my whole life, I'm in my 50s now, and this has been something that I have lived with my entire life. And I've done all the things, that people tell you to do so that we can lose weight and everything. And as I got into my 30s, I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit if I'm fat, if I'm skinny. I don't care. I just want to be healthy and I want to be comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
And it was, and that's when things started turning around for me personally. And I think the message that Noah is trying to convey with this song it makes people like me feel just a little more empowered and definitely seen. So I thank him for having the courage to put that song out into the world.
Love it. Well, I haven't heard it, but now I'm gonna. So I'm excited to listen to this, and I'm sure from what you've said, it's probably gonna strike a chord with me too, because I can't remember, probably 7th grade maybe was the last time I wasn't inordinately heavier than most of my friends. So junior high, when I stopped really playing sports, is about when I started to put on weight. And I've been heavy my whole life, and I've tried the diets, and I've, ebbed and flowed here and there, but yeah, I've lived that life too. And it's, I have my defense mechanism, as you can probably gather, is having a sense of humor about it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that when we're away from the camera and I'm by myself, it doesn't hurt.
Right.
That you don't feel those jabs and eye rolls and laughter and whatnot. I remember this is, I don't know if I should even tell this story, but I'm going to. I spent a lot of years in, as a PR guy in college athletics, and I would travel with athletic teams. So, I stuck out like a big fat sore thumb because I was around athletes all the time. And there was a basketball team that I worked with one time, and there was a guy on it that they used to like snicker when I would, get up to, go to the buffet line, because I always ate pregame meal with the team. And they would snicker when I would get up to go to the buffet line. And I finally one day just kind of turned around and said, I don't know, what are you guys snickering at? Like, I know I'm big. Are you laughing at me because I'm big? And one of them fessed up and said, no, we're laughing at this nickname that one of the guys gave you. And every time you get up, he says, there goes the nickname. And I said, well, I'm not going to be offended. Tell me what the nickname is. And my nickname was Muffin Butt. And which in retrospect is actually kind of funny, but at the same time, and I can laugh about it, and I can say, oh, all right, that's clever. That's funny. Yeah. I got the muffin top thing with it. Yeah. Okay. Muffin Butt. That's funny. But that doesn't mean that there aren't times after that where I thought about that and thought, oh shit, like that's just, it hurts, to hear that and live with that and not really be able to do anything about it or think you can do anything about it, I guess. So, yeah. Okay. Noah Guthrie, I've got a song to go listen to, and I appreciate that. Hopefully it'll lift my spirits a bit and help me feel seen as well. So thanks for that, Frank. That's good shit.
Sure thing.
Good shit.
Thank you to Noah Guthrie.
Yeah. Thanks, Noah. This is good stuff. Maybe we'll have Noah on the show one day, and,
I did chat with him about it, so hopefully.
I'll throw this out there because it's my defense mechanism. That motherfucker's going to be in widescreen resolution right there, by God.
We all will be. Widening a lens for everybody.
We ain't going to be in 3D. We're going to be in 3 double D. Thank you very much. I can go all day.
Time to go.
53 years of people calling me fat. I can go all day, baby.
Truly.
Here, the best one. I used to say this like out loud to people if they were poking fun of me and I was in front of the room and had the microphone, which sometimes I did. I would say, look, ladies, I understand that if you are attracted to me, that technically that's a fetish, but I'm okay with that. There you go. All right, this is ridiculous. Roots Music Rambler, or the name of the show, is a production of Falls and Partners, copyright 2026. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Genticorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com and make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next Hoe-Down and Throwdown. She's Frank.
He's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.